This is a story of reimagining what's possible. A story of people who believed in creating something better. This is a story of transformation from status quo to extraordinary. This is the story of Absolut. 1988, New York City. It was closing time at the Odeon. The bartender watched as the waitresses danced their way between tables with nothing but smiles on their faces. He wanted to thank them for making the long nights worth every second. Doing what he did best, he'd make them a drink. Transforming a classic, he started with Absolut Citron, a new type of vodka with a fresh lemon essence at its heart. Next, he added dashes of lime juice and orange liqueur. He continued with a splash of cranberry, giving it a blush pink hue. Shaken, strained, and served up with a twist. This is the story of how one of the most famous cocktails in the world was reborn for modern age, the Cosmopolitan. That was just one bar, one city. Around the world, barmen embraced the first premium vodka, inventing thousands of new cocktails around this versatile spirit, something mixologists continue to do today. In fact, this story starts nearly 150 years before this Cosmo was created. 1836, southern Sweden. A boy named Lars Olsson Smith was born into poverty. Dreaming of a life greater than he'd known, Smith was determined to make something of himself. It didn't take long. By the age of 26, Smith distributed 3/4 of all vodka sold in Sweden, but he still dreamt bigger. 1879, Smith transformed his vodka, distilling it hundreds of times until all impurities were removed. The result was a product of unrivaled quality. He named it Absolutely Pure Vodka. His empire growing internationally, he returned to southern Sweden and built a new distillery to meet the growing demand. Over a century later, there it remains, where Swedish vodka craftsmanship has been perfected over generations. It's in this same place that Absolut has transformed its potential yet again through Absolut Elix, a single estate handcrafted vodka. But all Absolut starts in the same way, with farmers like Marcus who ferry their harvest of winter wheat directly to the distillery. The partnerships with local farms are unique to Absolut, transforming how an international vodka is typically made. Every bottle is both from Aarhus and by the people of Aarhus. This is not just vodka. This is a community working the land their fathers and grandfathers did to create something they're proud of. It's why every drop of water and every blade of wheat comes from one well, one village, and one community. It's called one source. The reason why no matter where you are in the world, Absolut will always have the same high quality. This is the way it always has been, making Absolut the world's largest locally produced vodka. 1700s, a glassmaker molds a bottle like hundreds of others. Once used, it is forgotten, until it ends up on a dusty shelf of an antique store. 1978, the recipe for Absolut vodka had been revived, but no one could decide what to put it in. The answer was found in a vintage apothecary bottle encountered in Stockholm's oldest neighborhood. Many thought a bottle was just a bottle, but through transforming something basic, it turned into one of the world's most recognized silhouettes. It was everything Absolut stood for: clarity, simplicity, perfection. With no labels, the pure content could shine for all to see. 1979, the year Absolut came to America, a time when a unique style was required to make it on the scene, perfect for this new vodka. New York City was at the pinnacle of creative nightlife. Spots like Studio 54, Area, and the Palladium turned partying into an art form. It inspired the brand, which in turn inspired others. Throughout the next 3 decades, Absolut fueled the parties by pushing the boundaries of what to expect from a night out. Time and again, it transformed nightlife's potential as parties with an artistic edge evolved into parties created by the artists themselves. 1980, as Absolut was making its name inside the top clubs, its presence was missing from the pages of the magazines. It needed an ad to capture its unique sense of creativity. Madison Avenue was in a frenzy. 94 agencies were up for the opportunity. It was the day before the biggest pitch of his career, and admin Jeff Hayes couldn't pinpoint an idea. The hours ticking down, he took a bath to clear his mind. Suddenly, he realized the simplicity of it all. A calm took hold. He would strip away the flash and glitz, presenting the bottle in all its glory. That night, he didn't just create the first Absolut ad, but the idea for over 1,000 editions that would win hundreds of awards, creating a new hero that would transform the very notion of what an ad was supposed to look like. 1986. The next time Absolut revolutionized the ad industry was on a very different part of Madison Avenue, at Andy Warhol's factory. He admired the bottle. It said he would carry it with him to parties and wear its contents as cologne. Through transforming the perception of a common object, it brought art to the masses. The brand encouraged the world to explore their own self-expression, proving things are not only what you see, but also any version of them that can be imagined. Taking a step further, Absolut brought attention to the most challenging topics and ideas of the time, using art to change perspectives. Thousands would collaborate with the brand. For some, it was about supporting a movement. For many, it was their big break. But for millions more, Absolut had revealed that anything was possible through creativity. This is a story that is kept alive by those who dare to transform and reimagine what's possible. A story that has no ending. The story of Absolut.